I'm gonna touch on something here that I haven't really ever talked about before. Years ago, say it started in about 2010, I started to wake up some days and I would just be really shaky. My legs would be twitching. My hands would be like this. It started like it was a once a month kind of thing. Like it seemed like the beginning of every month I would wake up, I'd just be really fucking shaky and really tense. And then say it probably happened around the time that my grandmother was diagnosed with terminal cancer. I knew it was anxiety even then, but once or so every month I would just get really shaky out of nowhere. And then she died, and I didn't really know what to do with myself at the time because I've talked about my grandma a lot on here, so a lot of you know, but to those of you that don't, she was not very old when she died. She was only 67, I think. She was always the person that I went to when I needed advice, and when she died and ever since she died, I've lost that. And I think a lot of my poor decisions over the course of the last decade or so have been because I don't know what to do when I can't get advice from her. But anyway, that once a month thing after a while started to become more present. It'd go from once a month to once every other week or so. I'd wake up and I'd just be shaky. And like it was getting worse. I would hole myself up in my room because if I'd go out to eat or I'd go out with my friend, I'd just be sitting at the table like visibly shaking, like I was coming off of some hardcore drug. I found some things helped. I could numb it if I drank, so I would get blasted. I would get very drunk, and for the first time in my day, the shaking would stop. So I self-medicated with that for several years. Pot also helped. So if I had a hangover or something and couldn't drink, this hair of the dogs never really worked for me all that well. I could smoke, and that would also help. But nothing just normally would help it. And then it got worse. It was 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a week where I'd just wake up shaking. Before long, before I knew it, I was drinking and smoking and popping pills every single day just to quell that feeling. That tense feeling in my chest started to feel like a fucking boa constrictor. I had a hard time breathing. I had a hard time thinking clearly. I felt very animal at the time because I had no there was no conscious thought beyond why is everything so terrible? Why is everything so bad? And then things started to get a little better. I stopped doing pills and drinking and smoking. Things started to get better. I met a girl and she helped me. Forever indebted to that. And then it went from every day to weekly to bi-weekly to monthly, and eventually it stopped for several years. I'd say a good 3.5 years. I didn't experience this sensation. So it was always in the back catalog of my mind as like, well, that was a really fucked up time. But you got through it. You're strong. You're stronger than you give yourself credit for. And I'd built my confidence back up. I felt like there wasn't anything that I could overcome. Because on top of my grandma dying, that was a big wallop, but there were several other wallops too. Some of which are to this day too painful to talk of. Some of them were self-inflicted, and others were given to me without much consideration. Fault could be put in all directions. Anyway, today I woke up and I was shaking. I feel bad. That tightness in my chest has returned. I can't stop shaking. My feet are twitching. My hands are twitching. I know it's anxiety. I know what it is. It's almost like an old friend that I haven't seen in a long time, and they just make themselves apparent again. And I've changed. I don't want to see him. He's the exact same fucking person. I don't really know what to say. I don't know what I'm getting at here or why I'm discussing this. This house is painfully quiet. I don't have a way to distract myself. And I'm nervous because last time this stuff started happening, it took several years off of my life before I felt normal again. And it was a new normal. The normal that I've experienced in the time since has never been the same. I always chalk that up to just getting older. But I'm nervous because I don't know if I can handle another 5 years of this, if this is going to be in the same direction. If I woke up today and then I won't experience this again for a month, but then it comes again, and then it comes faster and more rapidly and more aggressively, and then suddenly I'm a fucking mess who can't do anything except sit and shake and feel pathetic, because that's the worst part of it. It's not the physical sensation or the fact that I can't think straight or think beyond myself. It's the fact that you feel so lame. You feel so pathetic. And that's the only thought that is up there, is just, you're pathetic, dude. Like, everybody else around you can navigate the waters of existence, and you're sitting here in a pile of your own pity. Why can't you? What the fuck is wrong with you? And you know the answer to that question, because you're self-aware enough. You know exactly what's wrong with you. So many things. I just know that it is slightly terrifying. That's all, I guess. I'm literally making this video as a distraction. I'm distracting myself, because now I have something to go downstairs and I can move the files over to my computer and I can edit this together and piece it in a way that's presentable. Filmed a bunch of stuff. Edit it and then export it and upload it. Maybe get some discussion going here and wait till tomorrow comes, and maybe this is just a fluke. Maybe this isn't something I need to be so worried about. But maybe it is too.